What's going on, golf fans? It's Luke, back again, this time for the top 6 value plays for the Rocket Mortgage Classic this year. This is going to be a new video series of mine covering the top 6 plays under $7,500 for the Draftkings slate. Typically on a golf slate, this is the price range where the talent level really starts to level off, where you're making some tough decisions, you got to hunker down on some of the best plays. So my goal of this video is to give you my top 6 in that price range. Our picks are going to be data-based, as they always are. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm an electrical engineer by trade, and I use a lot of the techniques that I've picked up as an engineer to help take on daily fantasy sports. I use a lot of custom modeling, a lot of visualizations, and overall a lot of tools to help you guys simplify your lineups in your DFS sports. I cover the PGA Tour, NFL, NBA, UFC, and even more. So make sure to check out my channel if you're looking for even more data-based content. I also have a Patreon page I just launched for my PGA projections. I have my projections for all 156 players in this week's tournament. I also have ownership updates, whether they're in my player pool, some game theory notes, and some extra notes on there as well. So make sure to check that out. It's only $1 for a month. It's super cheap right now, so you guys can get a taste for it, see what I have to offer before I raise the prices later on. So take advantage of that. Let me know what you guys think, and let's hop into my top 6 value plays for this week's event. Now we're hoping these value plays play a little bit better than I did for my round today. Ended up spraying the ball everywhere, stopped taking score after the third hole, pretty much tells the whole story. But these guys, I have a really good feeling, aren't going to be spraying the ball this week. At number 6, we have Matthew NeSmith, a $6,800 golfer that is an absolute ball striking machine. So we're kicking it off with, like I said, an absolute striper of the golf ball. He comes into play gaining 0.67 strokes per round with his irons over his last 28 rounds. That is elite level stuff, and it's not something that is very surprising when it comes to NeSmith. If we take a look at his numbers over the year, he's been gaining 0.64 strokes per round on approach, very consistent with what we've seen over those last 28 rounds. He's overall been one of the best iron players in the world. So what's the problem with Matthew NeSmith? A lot of it has been the accuracy off the tee. At the beginning of the year, NeSmith was one of the better off-the-tee players on tour. He was gaining 0.4 strokes per round, but he's seen a huge, drastic drop-off in his accuracy over these last 2-3 months. He's dropped to in the 62% range in terms of his driving accuracy, and as a result, he hasn't had the best stretch of late. That's why we see him priced down in the $6,800 range. But here at Detroit Golf Club, where there isn't much trouble off the tees, the only trouble really is on the front 9, where there are some forest areas, there are some tree-lined fairways and whatnot, but on the back 9, it is completely wide open. It is very flat, there's no water hazards. Essentially, you're going to be hitting the ball as far as you can off the tee, finding your golf ball, and hitting your approach shot. I think that plays very well into Matthew NeSmith's card. He's somebody, again, struggles with the accuracy off the tee. His strength is his approach play and the accuracy with those irons. So I think he's going to give himself plenty of opportunities at Detroit Golf Club. And at $6,800, I think he gives you a lot of good birdie upside as well. So he's going to be good in GPP contests. He really has that high potential upside, but I wouldn't have him in my cash lineup or anything like that. Again, he's coming in with relatively bad form. He hasn't been himself off the tee. So I don't think he's a very safe play by any means, but he's a very high upside play. If he can put together something off the tee, he can make a few putts here and there. He's going to have more than enough opportunities to score at Detroit Golf Club. At number 5, we have Sebastian Munoz, a $7,300 golfer who is an absolute birdie machine. He's somebody who's not afraid to go nuclear, and somebody I think you should definitely have in some lineups just in case he goes full meltdown this week. If we take a look at how he's been putting over the last 28 rounds, he's been an absolute beast. He's gaining 0.77 strokes per round with the flat stick. That is top 5 in the field. And Sebastian Munoz also has been doing it off the tee. He's been gaining 0.3 strokes per round off the tee, a majority of that done with his distance, which is great to see as well. And I overall really like his potential this week, especially given the type of ceiling performances that we've seen from him. If you guys are new to the Sebastian Munoz experience, he's somebody who will routinely go out, shoot 7 under his first day, 4 or 5 over the next day. He's just an extremely volatile golfer that's a lot of fun to watch. He's somebody that has won before. We saw him win the Sanderson Farms. He did that by going nuclear 3 out of the 4 days. And overall, he really has a lot of potential due to that birdie upside. He's number 3 in the field over the last 3 events in terms of birdie or better percentage. He's somebody who's very aggressive with the putter. He seems to do better in birdie fests as a result. And that's why he comes in at number 5 this week. He has high birdie upside. He only costs $7,300. And I think he has real upside to top 5 or even top 10 this week, given that it's a birdie fest and it goes right into his skill set. We have an absolute DFS sweetheart coming in at number 4 in Doug Ghim. And even $7,000 in somebody who I think is going to be very popular this week for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Last week at the Travelers, Ghim went off in round 1. He had one of those nuclear performances that we're looking for. I believe it was 6 or 7 under, if my memory serves me well. And overall, he showed a ton of promise with his flat stick in that round. I took a look at his statistics, shots gained from that tournament round by round. And in round 1, he gained over 2 strokes with the flat stick. Now, that's a pretty pedestrian performance, especially with the putter. But for Doug Ghim, that is amazing. If we take a look at his performances before that round, he had lost putting in 12 straight rounds. Pretty typical for Doug Ghim. He's one of the worst putters on the PGA Tour. But that life that I saw at the Travelers is the reason why I'm very stoked to play him in DFS this week. Over the last 28 rounds, he is gaining 0.85 strokes per round tee to green, which puts him top 15 in the field. And again, he's a $7,000 golfer, right? He's priced down in the 40s, 50s range in terms of price. If you're getting a guy who's very good tee to green, top 15 like you are with Doug Ghim, that is a great value. His one major flaw, like I mentioned, is the flat stick. He is losing 0.81 strokes per round with the flat stick. But those kind of numbers are horrible, but they're indicative of an entire season of work. He was even worse at the beginning of the season. He's been changing grips, he's been changing putting styles, etc., just trying to figure out how to putt a little bit better than he has been. Of late, he actually switched to the claw grip, I believe, and that's where we saw the plus and the positive strokes gained at the Travelers. I think there's a lot of good signs there. It's very encouraging to me that he put up a performance like that. And if he can gain strokes in just 1 or even 2 rounds here at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, he could win the event. He's that good from tee to green. He gains on approach more than most of the top 10 players in the world. He's an elite approach player, and that's why I love him at $7,000. At number 3, we have one of my core plays for this week from my first preview, and that is Vincent Whaley, a $6,500 golfer who gives you a ton of salary flexibility along with some birdie upside as well. So he killed a lot of DFS owners last week and the week before. He was high owned, 15% plus owned in each event, and he missed the cut. The good news for Whaley is that he made the cut in 9 straight events before those 2 missed cuts, so I'm more than willing to buy back in, given a lot of owners are definitely going to be jaded this week with Vincent Whaley. If we take a look at some of the statistics around Whaley, specifically over the last 28 rounds, he comes in with number 20 in the field in shots gained total, and at $6,500, that's an absolute joke of a price. He also comes in number 22 in the field in birdie or better percentage. So he's somebody who just doesn't just score well. He doesn't just do it with finishing position. He does it by making a lot of birdies. We saw him do well at the Travelers, even though he missed the cut. He started 3 or 4 under par, was showing that birdie upside. Ended up faltering down the stretch, but he's one of the few guys that's not afraid to go low. We've seen him do well at the Corrales. We've seen him do well at Punta Cana. We've seen him do well at the Puerto Rico Open, some of these events without shots gained numbers, and those are birdie fests. There are tournaments that reach 20, 25 under with the winning score, and if he's doing well at those type of events, I think he's going to do great at a birdie fest like the Rocket Mortgage Classic. On top of that, I really do think he's going to be low owned, like I mentioned. Not a lot of people are going to be willing to go back to him after those 2 missed cuts, but I'm looking a little bit more long term. I'm taking a more realistic approach. If he's made the cut in 9 straight events at any point in the season, he's obviously a quality golfer. Quality golfers shouldn't be priced in the $6,500 range, so he's going to be one of my core plays like I mentioned for this week. At number 2, we have the king of the birdie makers. We have Patton Kizzire, priced at $7,400, and aptly number 1 in birdie or better percentage over the last 28 rounds. So he comes in with a particular skill set, a skill set to make a ton of birdies, which is to be good on approach and a hell of a putter. If we take a look at those 2 statistics for Kizzire, he is gaining 0.57 strokes on approach, absolutely scorching it with the irons, but he's doing even better with the flat stick. He's gaining 0.76 strokes per round with the flat stick, which makes him top 5 in the field in both categories. That kind of combination is lethal. They are arguably the 2 most important parts of the golf game. Obviously, the irons, the approach play, putting yourself in position, and the flat stick getting the job done. I think at a birdie fest like this, like the Rocket Mortgage Classic, that's exactly what you're looking for. Obviously, he's been making a lot of birdies with being number one in birdie or better percentage, so I'm not going to be overthinking this pick. He comes in at number 2 because I think he's priced a little bit higher than I'd like for him. At $7,400, a lot of people are going to be forced into that price range. He's likely going to be owned in the 15 to 20% range. He's not going to be a sneaky pick by any means. But in terms of value, I think he's by far the best value on the slate. He's definitely going to make the cut in my opinion. I think he's a lock to finish in the top 15. I think he has real top 5 or even winning upside as well. He's just that kind of a putter. He's been very good with the irons of late. And his only real weakness is the off the tee play. He's somebody who really struggles with his accuracy. He's relatively long though. He does hit the ball 305 yards on average. And at Detroit Golf Club, he's going to get away with it. It's wide open on the back 9. The only trouble he's going to fall into is the tree-lined fairways on the front 9. But to be honest, they're not that dense. You can definitely pitch out of them. Hell, you can even get full shots out of them sometimes. So I'm not as worried about Kizzire this week. And he's definitely going to be one of my higher owned plays for the entire tournament. If golf tournaments were decided by who had the prettiest golf swing, who had the best swing on the driving range, then my number 1 value play this week would win every single golf tournament. That player is Cam Davis, a $7,200 golfer who I really, really like his upside this week at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Detroit Golf Club is the flattest golf course on the entire PGA Tour. It is said to look like a driving range from tee to green. And just like I said before, Cam Davis has one of the best driving range swings in the entire world. Some people call him the prototype. Some people say he has the prototypical swing, body, etc. for golf. And as a result, he flushes the ball like no other. I've seen him on the range before, Honda Classic. I've seen him at the Valspar. The golf ball comes off his club differently than it does other people. I would say Bryson, it comes off similarly. It just penetrates the air. It looks like every time he hits the ball, he's putting holes through the air. If you had like a tarp up and you hit golf ball, you can like hit it through a tarp. It looks like he's doing that to the air. That's the only way I can explain his ball flight. He's an absolute striper of the golf ball, and I think this setup is just made for Cam Davis. We saw Bryson bomb and gouge it last year, just drive the ball as far as humanly possible, hit good iron shots because the rough isn't penal at all, and make some putts. Cam Davis, that is his prototype for success. He's somebody who's extremely long. He averages 320 off the tee. He's not accurate at all, but again, that's not going to be a problem. He's somebody who's very good with his irons as well. He averages over half a stroke gained per round with his irons. He hasn't done really well of late. Over the last 28 rounds, he's not doing quite as well. He's just gaining about 0.1 strokes per round, but he's also somebody who makes a ton of putts. Cam Davis is an aggressive putter. He's somebody who hardly ever leaves the ball short. And as a result, he's one of the highest birdie or better percentage players in the entire world. If you take a look at his numbers over the entire season, he comes in top 10 in the category. He also comes in top 20 in shots gained approach and top 10 in shots gained off the tee. So he's a ball striker. This is going to be a ball striker's golf course. And Cam Davis is a sneaky, extremely high upside play that I'm going to have entirely too much in my DFS lineups this week. I don't think he's a cash play. Just like Matthew NeSmith, he's definitely not safe. He's somebody who implodes when he tends to play bad. But I don't think he's going to play bad at all. I think that the course sets up well. I think he's going to sense that the course sets up well for him. And I expect a little bit of extra focus and a top 5 finish for him. That's all I've got for this week's value plays, guys. I'm going to have my ownership reaction video out tomorrow. I'll be going over my top 3 fades for the week as well as my top 3 sleeper picks given the ownership that I calculate over the next 24 hours or so. So look forward to that. Let me know in the comments who your favorite value play is for the week. Each comment is going to give you an entry to win a free month of my Patreon. So make sure to leave a comment. Let me know your favorite value play is, and you can earn my projections for free. So as always, make sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed my content. It really helps me out. I really do appreciate it. It also makes sure that you guys can catch my content as soon as I post it. It's a win-win right there. And again, I really appreciate it. Thanks as always for watching. I will see you guys next week, and good luck. Let's make some cash.